Assalaamu Alaikum. Asslaamu Alaikum Warahmatullahi Barakatuh. On behalf of the entire Muslim fraternity, we would like to wish you and your family on the joyous occasion of Eid Al Adha. Eid Mubarak to one and all. Bakra Eid, also known as Eid Al Adha, is an important festival celebrated by Muslims across the world. Out of the two Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid Al Adha, which are celebrated by Muslims, Bakra Eid is said to be the holier one. It is celebrated on at the end of Hajj, an yearly pilgrimage to Mecca, which Muslims are required to embark on once in their life. Bakra Eid is also known as sacrificial feast. Bakra Eid is also known as sacrifice feast, as this day marks Prophet Ibrahim's devotion and faith in Allah. God had once asked Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice the dearest thing to him to prove his love and faith. And so Prophet Ibrahim decided to sacrifice his only son. When Prophet Ibrahim was about to sacrifice his son, God sent his angel, Jibra'il, that is Gabriel, to replace the son with a goat. And so, since that day, Bakra Eid is celebrated to remember Prophet Ibrahim's faith in God. The festival is celebrated by sacrificing a male goat. It is divided into three portions. The first part is given to relatives, friends and neighbours. The second to the poor and needy. And the third is for the family. Delicious dishes like mutton biryani, mutton korma, and desserts like kheer and khurma are prepared on this day. Now, what is Eid Al Adha? Eid Al Adha, Feast of the Sacrifice, or Qurbani ki Eid, also called the Festival of the Sacrifice, is the second of the two Islamic holidays celebrated worldwide each year, the other being the Eid al-Fitr. And Eid Al Adha is considered the holier of the two. It honors the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim, that is Abraham, to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God's command. But before Abraham could sacrifice his son, God provided a lamb to sacrifice instead. In commemoration of this intervention, an animal is sacrificed and divided into three parts. One share is given to the poor and needy, another is kept for the home, and the third is given to the relatives. In the Islamic lunar calendar, Eid Al Adha falls on the 10th day of the month of Dhul Hijjah and lasts for 3 days. In the international Gregorian calendar, the dates vary from year to year, shifting approximately, you can say, 11 days earlier each year. The month of Dhul Hijjah, or alternatively we can say Dhul Hijjah, is the 12th and final month in the Islamic calendar, that is the Hijri calendar. It is a very sacred month in the Islamic calendar, one in which the Hajj takes place as well as the festival of the sacrifice, that is the Bakra Eid. During this month, Muslim pilgrims from all around the world congregate at Mecca to visit the Kaaba. The Hajj is performed on the 8th, 9th and the 10th of this month. Day of Arafat takes place on the 9th of the month. Eid Al Adha, the festival of the sacrifice, begins on the 10th day and ends on sunset of the 13th day. Now we will know the months of the Islamic calendar. The first month is Muharram, second Safar, third Rabi al-Awwal, fourth Rabi al-Thani, fifth Jumada al-Awwal, sixth Jumada al-Thani, seventh Rajab, eighth Shaban, ninth Ramadan, 10th Shawwal, 11th Dhul al-Qa'dah, and 12th and the final is Dhul al-Hijjah. Now we will know the origin of Eid Al Adha. One of the main trials of Abraham's life, was to face the command of God to sacrifice his dearest possession, that is his son. The son is not named in the Quran, but the earliest Islamic traditions identify Ismail as the son who was sacrificed. Upon hearing this command, Abraham prepared to submit to the will of God. During his preparation, Shaitan, the devil, tempted Abraham and his family by trying to dissuade them from carrying out God's commandment. And Abraham drove Satan away by throwing pebbles at him. In commemoration of their rejection of Satan, stones are thrown at symbolic pillars during the stoning of the devil during Hajj rites. When Abraham attempted to cut his son's throat on Mount Arafat, he was astonished to see that his own son was unharmed, and instead he found an animal which was slaughtered. Abraham had passed the test by his willingness to carry out God's command. Abraham had shown that his love for God superseded all others, that he would lay down his own life or the lives of those dearest to him in submission to God's commands. Muslims commemorate this ultimate act of sacrifice every year during Eid Al Adha. While Abraham was prepared to make an ultimate sacrifice, God ultimately prevents the sacrifice, additionally signifying that one should never sacrifice a human life, especially not in the name of God. How are the Eid prayers performed? Devotees offer the Eid Al Adha prayers at the mosque. The Eid Al Adha prayer is performed anytime after the sun completely rises up to just before the entering of Zuhr time on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. In the event of a natural disaster, the prayer may be delayed to the 11th of Dhul Hijjah and then to the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. Eid prayers must be offered in congregation. It consists of 2 rakats with 7 takbeers in the first rakat and 5 takbeers in the second rakat. The prayer is then followed by the khutbah or the sermon by the imam. At the conclusion of the prayers and the sermon, Muslims embrace and exchange greetings with one another, saying Eid Mubarak, give gifts and visits to one another, and many Muslims also take this opportunity to invite their non-Muslim friends, neighbours, co-workers and classmates to their Eid festivities to better acquaint themselves about Islam and Muslim culture. What are the traditions and practices of Eid Al Adha? During Eid Al Adha, distributing meat amongst the people, chanting the takbir out loud before the Eid prayers on the first day and after prayers throughout the 3 days of Eid are considered essential parts of this important Islamic festival. The takbir is recited as Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Men, women and children are expected to dress in their finest clothing to perform Eid prayer in a large congregation in an open field called the Eidgah. Affluent Muslims who can afford it sacrifice their best halal domestic animals, usually a cow, but can also be a camel, goat or sheep depending on the region, as a symbol of Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his only son. The sacrificed animals, called qurbani, have to meet certain age and quality standards, or else the animal is considered an unacceptable sacrifice. The meat from the sacrificed animal is preferred to be divided into 3 parts. The family retains 1/3 of the share, another third is given to relatives, friends and neighbours, and the remaining third is given to the poor and the needy. Muslims wear their new or best clothes, women cook special sweets, and they all gather with family and friends. Eid Al Adha in the Gregorian calendar. While Eid Al Adha is always on the same day of the Islamic calendar, that is the Hijri calendar, the date on the Gregorian calendar varies from year to year since the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar and the Gregorian calendar is a solar calendar. The lunar calendar is approximately 11 days shorter than the solar calendar. Each year, Eid Al Adha, like other Islamic holidays, falls on one of about 2 to 4 different Gregorian dates in different parts of the world. Because the boundary of crescent visibility is different from the international date line. Now we will understand the animal offerings on Eid Al Adha. Sacrificing one's son was a test of Abraham's faith. To commemorate and remember Abraham's trials, Muslims slaughter an animal such as a sheep, camel, or goat. The practice is often misunderstood by those outside of the faith. Therefore, several points must be understood here. First, there are no special rituals involved other than the animal meeting certain requirements. The animal is slaughtered in the same way as it is slaughtered on any other time of the year. The only difference is in the intention. For regular slaughter, the intention is the meat, but for Eid Al Adha, it is to worship Allah by commemorating Abraham's trials. Second point, God's name is pronounced since Allah has given us power over animals and allowed us to consume their meat, but only in His name. By saying the name of Allah at the time of slaughter, we remind ourselves that even the life of an animal is sacred, and we can only take away its life in the name of the one who gave it in the first place. Third point and the last point, good acts alone for one's sins. Offering qurbani is an act of worship, that is no exception. Prophet Muhammad said that the most beloved deed on Eid Al Adha is offering the qurbani, and it will come on the day of resurrection, that is the day of judgment. Laws of qurbani for Eid Al Adha. Type of animal. A single sheep can be offered as a sacrifice for a single person or a family. At the time of the Messenger of Allah, a man would sacrifice a sheep on behalf of himself and the members of his household, and they would eat from it and give some to others. A camel or cow is sufficient for 7 people. Because of the report, a cow would be sacrificed on behalf of 7 men and we would share it. Age of animal. The animal should be of a certain age to be fit for qurbani. The minimum ages are 6 months for a lamb or a sheep, 1 year for a goat, 2 years for a cow, 5 years for a camel. Characteristic of the animal. It should be free of any faults because the Prophet said, there are 4 that will not do for sacrifice. Number 1, a one-eyed animal whose defect is obvious. Number 2, a sick animal whose sickness is obvious. Number 3, a lame animal whose limb is obvious. And number 4, an emaciated animal that has no marrow in its bones. There are milder defects that do not disqualify an animal, but it is disliked to sacrifice such animals, like an animal with a horn or ear missing, or with slits in its ears, etc. If the animal is castrated, it is not considered a fault. Time of sacrifice. It should be sacrificed at the specified time, which is after the prayer and khutbah of Eid Al Adha. When it has concluded, until before sunset of the 13th day of Dhul Hijjah. The Prophet said, whoever sacrifices before the prayer, let him repeat it. The meat from the sacrifice of Eid Al Adha is eaten by family and relatives, given away to friends and donated to the poor. We recognize that all blessings come from Allah, and we should open our hearts and share with others. What are the Sunnahs, the recommended deeds of Eid Al Adha? The following points that I am going to tell you are the recommended acts that bring additional reward on Eid Al Adha. No need to worry if you forget some, but try to do as many as possible to maximize your reward. The Prophet used to take a complete ritual bath, that is the ghusl, on the day of Eid. The Prophet used to wear his best clothes to go to the Eid prayer. Both men and women should observe the proper, modest Islamic dress when they go out for the Eid prayer. The Prophet would take different routes for going and coming back from the Eid prayer. Another sunnah is to pronounce Allah's greatness with these words: Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Which means Allah is most great. Allah is most great. There is no true deity but Allah. Allah is most great. Allah is most great. And all praise be to Allah. They are to be said when coming out of one's house for the prayer place and until the Imam comes to perform the prayer. On Eid Al Adha, it is recommended not to eat anything until one comes back from the prayer. So he should eat from the qurbani if he has offered a sacrifice. If he is not going to offer a sacrifice, there is nothing wrong with eating before the prayer. Basic format of the Eid prayer. The Prophet did not offer any prayer immediately before or after the Eid prayer. Only if the Eid prayer is in a mosque, you pray 2 rakats before sitting down. There is no azan for the Eid prayer. The Prophet would do the prayer first, followed by the khutbah, that is the sermon. The timings. The time of Salat al-Eid, that is the Eid prayer, begins when the sun reaches approximately 2 meters above the horizon until it reaches its meridian before Zuhr. Adhering to the Sunnah, the time for Eid al-Fitr prayer is delayed and Eid al-Adha prayer is hastened, so as to facilitate distribution of fitrah before the Eid al-Fitr prayer and offer sacrifice after the Eid al-Adha prayer. This has been a proved sunnah and has been well recorded in the books of Hadith. Now I wish your life is as spicy as biryani and as sweet as kheer. Eid Mubarak.